Hey, what's up, fam? It's Chappell, and we're back again for another episode of Recap Kickback, the podcast where we talk about Black entertainment news and then everything else that we want to talk about too. Uh, as you know, we Recap Kickback is in year 2. We've made it through Black History Month, we've made it through March, and now it's April. And so we got a lot more content coming your way. So thank you all for subscribing, liking the podcast, and all that good stuff. But make sure you tell a friend to go check it out. Make sure you join our YouTube community. It's a great time here. And make sure you come look at our beautiful faces because it's not just me here. It is me and my lovely co-host, the person who keeps this train on the tracks, Mari Forth. Mari, welcome back.
Yay, we're back. Another episode of Recap Kickback where we get to talk about where we want. I love it here. I love what you did with the place. I love coming here every week in our discussions. The only thing I don't like is not hearing from our audience. What's going on with that?
Yeah. We've been getting some good comments on the Abbott Elementary. We do get some consistent people as well. I think next week, next podcast, I think I want to give some shout outs to our very consistent commenters. But yes, please make sure you leave a comment on our YouTube page, or at the very least, leave us a review on our podcast feed. You can leave a review directly on recapkickback.com, but let us know what you're thinking about the podcast. You know, if you got any suggestions, anything you want us to talk about, anything that you think we could do differently to make the podcast a little bit better, let us know. But make sure you throw us a 5-star review in the meantime, because we need those to keep the doors open here at Recap Kickback. And Mari, we did get a recent submission. You want to hear about it?
Please.
All right. So we got a review from Alex. Love the podcast. 5 out of 5. I love the podcast. Some of my recent favorite episodes have been about Beyond the Gates and Beauty and Black. Yes.
Oh, Alex, you have a type.
Look at that. I would love to hear some content about the Lifetime movies featuring well-known Black stars. I'd recommend Single Black Female 3.
No.
The whole series of movies is fun, and Wife Stalker. And we could add I Was Kidnapped from an HBCU as well, you know.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that. We said
thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, see, this is what you do. You come to the kickback and you say crazy things, and then we debate.
And then we do it. We
watch Lifetime.
Yeah, why not? What's wrong with us talking about Single White Female 3? Do we have to watch Single White Female 1 and 2 to then understand Single White Female 3? I mean, Black Female 3.
Black Female. I didn't. I've only seen clips from Single Black Female 1. So I'm astonished that there's 3 of them. So interesting.
So I'm spoiled. I know how how movie 1 ends. Because I walked in on somebody watching it and was like, what the hell? And then I was like, but since there are 2 more. Yeah, maybe we circle back. Again, we take listeners' requests. I think we need to set a precedent, Mari. If the listeners want to hear us talk about it, I think we got to talk about it.
Okay, that's so funny. Yeah. All right.
And if you're a listener who don't want us to hear us talk about this, guess what? You should have suggested something else. Please leave your submissions, recapkickback@gmail.com, and then maybe we can bump what you want us to talk about up the ranks, okay? That sounds good to me.
Did I Got Kidnapped from an HBCU? Did that premiere yet?
Oh, that's been out. That came out last year.
Oh, okay, because I remember you.
Yeah,
you watched it. Okay, all right. Okay, I might have to watch it, and then
I had to shut my aunties down because they was like, I can't send my baby to HBCU. I was like, girl, we grown. All your kids is grown, got college degrees, went to HBCUs. What are you talking about?
So wait, so she hypothetically couldn't send her kids that are already gone and come back?
You know how you be watching something and talking like you in the screen? So, I wouldn't send my baby there. What? So maybe we'll check that out too. Look, we're always looking for suggestions. Recapkickback@gmail.com. But then, of course, make sure you're downloading the podcast on whatever podcast feed you have, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or whatever. Because then that way, we get those downloads and make us look like we're doing our job good. The 5-star reviews are great, but they're not enough. Okay, we need more. Okay. So
rate, review, subscribe.
Yeah, the big 3. Mari, since we're talking about absurdities, I do have some Black entertainment news for you this week, and I'm very excited.
Lay it on me.
Okay, I'll build up to the absurd. How about that? So first and foremost, we'll talk about what's coming soon, or that's already out. This is from our friends over at Blex Media. I steal so much stuff from them, and so I want to give them a shout out. Go to blexmedia.com. But yes, number one on the call sheet. This article says it's a love letter to the journey, but also a wake-up call. So it's a documentary where they really break down some of the ins and outs of Black Hollywood and in the movie industry. And I was reading the article, and it really sounded something kind of similar to the other docu-series that you and I and LaTanya covered earlier, where they kind of went through Black film. This is told in two parts. They talk about the men of Black Hollywood, the legacy, power moves, and career strategies from a man's standpoint. So Denzel Washington's there, Will Smith, Kevin Hart, Eddie Murphy's impact. They talk about that. Then part two, they talk about the women and the double standards in the industry, silent struggles, the unspoken beauty standards, unequal treatment, all that stuff. Then they get into the Oscars and, Halle Berry's win, some people's notable snubs. And then they really talk about the legacy of these Black entertainers in Hollywood. And obviously what that looks like when they're not in contention for those Oscars and big awards due to being a very niche like audience sometimes. Some of them are huge names everywhere, and then some of them are just Black famous, and so that does hinder them. So I really thought, like, I'll throw this at Mari and see what you think, if maybe we should go talk about this too.
Yeah, of course, shout out to Kev on Stage and that chick Angel. I am a part of the stage crew, so I did know that Kev on Stage talked about seeing this movie and really, really liking it, and so it was already like on my to-do list. Like you said, we already covered I forget, we covered so much stuff, but
that one.
Yep, that thing. Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm down. I'm definitely down to watch this.
All right, sounds good. Next up, we have coming soon, Checkmate. Joyce Glenn and Dorian Wilson team up for the chess serial killer thriller. Now, I'm not really familiar with Joyce Glenn, but I do know Dorian Wilson, and that's Professor Ogilvy, right? Like that's
yeah. Well, hey, Professor Ogilvy.
I don't think I've ever seen him. That's a lot. I've seen him in different stuff, but not recently.
Yeah. Nothing else is coming to mind.
Yeah, well, this is going to be a Tubi original, Mari, so it's gonna slap.
Yep.
What is that face?
It's gonna slap, just like what was it, that nurse who saw that kid on the side of the road and left her wig there.
Yeah, real. I saw a book called My Baby Daddy is a Bed Bug the other day. And I was like, I bet that's gonna be a Tubi movie one day.
Chess serial killer thriller.
Yeah, so Joyce Glenn stars as Brittany, a detective who's pulled into a twisted case that hits close to home. To catch a killer using chess to select his victims, she's forced to reconnect with her estranged father, played by Professor Ogilvy here. And so I guess the two of them kind of team up to take down whoever the chess killer is. And that's dropping on April 11th. And so that's right around the corner. And so I don't know if we dedicate a whole podcast to it, but I think it's definitely something we can put our eyes on.
We can watch it, and I'm going to take a wild guess that her father that she's asking for help is he himself a serial killer.
I don't know. I think he's just a chess master. But now we could probably get there eventually. I wouldn't be shocked if at the end of the day, because it is Tubi. So I wouldn't be
Well, let us know. Can you put a poll in like a YouTube chat?
Ooh,
I don't know how social media works.
YouTube has communities, so you can post like for your community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe do a poll. Okay.
Yeah, let's see what people want us to talk about. How about that? We'll do a poll. All right, and then something that I thought also would catch your attention. Are you familiar with Trevor Jackson from Grownish? I believe.
Oh, yes, Aaron. Okay, yeah. The name sounded familiar.
Well, look at him. Grey's Anatomy, season 21.
Hey. Okay.
Yeah. Trevor Jackson's coming to Grey's. And so I was like, oh yeah, we got another one.
Some eye candy, but also okay. They never do the Black men, right? Like
hold on. We got Chief Weber. We got Ben.
Chief Weber?
I mean, he's the only person left from episode 1. Him and Miranda Bailey. That's it. So you got to give him his credit, Mari. He made it this far.
Yes, but he is like the ultimate fuckboy, and people forget that.
Okay, he was the ultimate fuckboy. Now he's an elder statesman. He's grown. He's learned, etc., etc.
Right. Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
I mean, but aside from Bailey, who on Grey's is ish? They all got a past. All of them moved funny. Hell, Meredith break the law every other episode, except when it's to help one of her friends and family. Then all of a sudden she forgets how to do that.
Christina was it.
Christina also was breaking the law. Christina was also out here being reckless as well. She also dated Owen Hunt. It's a whole thing, So I'm just saying, we got past on Grey's Anatomy, but now we got a future here with Trevor Jackson. He will be making his debut in episode 2117, the penultimate episode of the current season, airing May 8th. And he'll also appear in the season finale. Yeah. Oh, you're behind.
Yeah, I like to let like some episodes like stack up, and then I like to like binge like 3 at a time.
Gotcha. Now I'm pretty caught up on Grey's, but I don't know if he's going to be a doctor. So normally when people have guest spots, like Lena Waithe was recently on Grey's Anatomy in a guest spot. And yeah, I was intrigued. So it was an interesting role for her, I will say that. And so she had a guest spot, but this sounds like he's going to have a recurring role because they describe him as a confident man who relocated to Seattle in his late 20s, and they normally don't give us that kind of backstory for just like somebody who's coming in for a procedure or something like that. So I'm thinking we might have Trevor Jackson moving forward in season 22.
Okay, all right. Because there's another season coming.
Oh yeah, what? You gotta know it's another season. The Grey's coming. Miss one, next 15 one coming.
For real.
Real. They say Grey's is like buses. But Mari, lastly, before we decided to talk about The Residents, I was like, let's take a peek at what else is going on here in these streaming streets. And our boy, TP, Tyler Perry's back at it again.
Right.
With this movie, Duplicity. It is streaming on Amazon Prime. Mari, did you watch it?
He loves the one-word title, don't he? He really
does. He do.
I did not get a chance to watch Duplicity.
So I saw an article, or not even an article. I won't lie on people. It was probably a Facebook post that said, "This is the worst Tyler Perry movie of all time." And I thought,
accepted.
Right, exactly. I was like, "Baby, you didn't see Beauty in Black, okay?" And so I mean, Divorce in the Black. You didn't see Divorce in the Black. You didn't see Divorce in the Black. So I'm watching the movie. I'm not going to spoil it in case anybody listening to this wants to see it. But I'm watching the movie and I'm like kind of following the threads like, oh, okay, I kind of see where this is going. And then something else happened. I was like, oh, okay, I thought it was going there, but I see where this is going. And then about halfway through, I started typing up my response to that post being like, man, there's worse movies than this for sure. But you get to about the last scene of the movie. And Mari, I mean, I've never seen Tyler Perry do Tyler Perry so much in one scene of television. I was disgusted. I said, TP, I've been on here caping for you for months, and you gonna do this to me? Mari,
no.
In the last scene of the movie, I just was like, oh, this is the worst movie Tyler Perry has ever made. And I watched Medea's Homecoming twice. I don't know what to say, Mari. It just goes off the rails out of nowhere. I mean,
I'm gonna have to watch it.
You gotta watch it. Let me know in the comments if you watch
to the poll, right? It's gonna be Duplicity.
No, I don't want a podcast about Duplicity. I don't want to talk about it. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it.
I don't know. We might have to do it as the official podcast of Tyler Perry Studios.
Right. First of all, I was offended that he even went to Prime because I was like, I thought we had a Netflix deal, Tyler Perry. What are we doing? But
but see, that's the thing. I think he has both.
Get that money.
And that's why some stuff is on Amazon and the other stuff is on Netflix. You know what I'm saying?
What stuff be on which, Mari? What you trying to say? Because you say the Netflix stuff is the good stuff, because when I tell you this Prime stuff was not it.
Exactly.
It wasn't it, Mari. It wasn't it. I was in it. I'm telling you, y'all, I was ready to come in to defend this man. I was about y'all playing in Tyler's face. He doing his best. Y'all just don't like to see no black man thriving in film. I was really coming in here ready. And I'm talking about in one scene, I was like, you know what, Tyler, you don't respect me, and it shows. That's your problem. You don't respect, have no respect for people.
Where people were like whipping off wigs and revealing themselves, weren't they?
The reveals, I'm gonna watch it. The reveals were reveals. I would just say that, and I was just like,
he loves a good wig reveal.
How you just decide to like undo all the goodwill you had earned from me in such a short amount of time? I was just, I mean, low key devastated that it kind of took a turn like that, because I came in so ready to just be like, y'all ain't being fair to this man. It is like y'all just don't want to see him shine. It's the way y'all. Now I'm like, you know,
get him again.
You know,
get him.
My bad. Yeah, my bad. Hit him, get him again. Whack him again. Whack him for me. That's literally how I felt. Like, oh my god. So yeah, I had to keep that one in the chamber for you, just for you, Mari.
Hilarious. That's hilarious. Why did you text me? You should have texted me and told me to watch it.
Because I kind of don't want you to. Like, that's like it pissed me off that much to where I was kind of like, actually, you don't need to watch it. You know, actually sit this one out. You know, and you know how I went up for Beauty in Black. I was like, no, it's bad, but it's good. I was like, no, I just feel like I wasted my time, and here we are.
Should I just watch the scene somewhere?
No, it's the whole product that really, it's just that scene really just like, it's like when you did something, like it's like you made a cake and then you just put your hand in it and just like started, like it just started, and you threw it against the wall. I was like, it's done. Tyler, what are we doing, TP? So yeah, that yeah. If you're listening to this, let me know what you think about Duplicity, because I think I don't want to dedicate a podcast to it, but I think it definitely deserves me yelling about it a little bit. So I don't know, maybe I'll do a reel or something. I don't know, something. Somebody got to say something.
I was about to say, this feels like a watch along. Like, this feels like
yeah, you know what? Honestly, I don't even know how that works on YouTube. If we could get away with putting it up on the screen and just like commenting, but just a reaction video would not.
A reaction video, yeah.
Yeah, I would not hate that. Okay, here's the last thing. Did you hear about Crime Mob and the reason why they ultimately broke up in the late 2000s?
No, I did not.
Okay, so I was scrolling that other site, and I saw a clip from a different podcast where they were interviewing Princess from Crime Mob. And so I want to share with you, and I'm going to share our screen and let everybody watch it with us, because YouTube don't care about no x.com. And so I'm going to put it up on the screen, and we going to just I just want you to go on a journey, okay? All right, here we go. Let me know if you can hear it.
What is it that possibly Princess did wrong, potentially, to separate this group?
Okay, y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
Me and my brother went to Six Flags, right? We came home. We called Diamond. We told her we saw Michael Jackson at Six Flags, and that Michael Jackson wants to get on Nook If You Book, and that he just left our house, and she needs to come listen to his verse. And she ran all the way from her house to ours, and she believed us. And it hurt her. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We told you. Michael Jackson.
Prince, are you being fucking serious right now?
I'm so serious. I'm so serious.
How old were y'all when this happened?
16.
At the start of Crime Mob. Yes. You told her Michael Jackson was at the crib.
And the monkey did some ad libs. I'm sorry.
Not Bubbles. Oh no, not Crime Mob ended because of an April Fool's joke. Girl.
The idea, first of all, the story in and of itself. We met Michael Jackson at Six Flags. Number one, how did that even look? 16-year-old princess from Crime Mob, like, hey, Michael Jackson. He like, is that princess? What? I love Crime Mob.
Right. Well, this was around the time of Rock My World, right? Like that's around the same time.
But then he'll be like, let me be on the remix for Next Few Bucks.
What is he gonna do on the remix?
What with Michael
Jackson? I don't understand.
What is he even going to do? And then, not only did he record a verse, but he left it with just. I left my verse with y'all. Come to the house. She runs over to the house. I really imagine her running down the street, like just like full speed, trying to get
sprint. Yeah,
to find out what Michael Jackson had laid down on Nuck If You Buck. And I'm sorry, on top of all that, and Bubbles the monkey on the ad lib. Now
she said ad lib.
Look, we're recording this on April Fool's Day, but I need Diamond to say psych. I need Diamond wherever you are to be like, that's a joke. That did not happen. Because could you imagine throwing away a career? Then Crime Mob is still famous for Nuck If You Buck.
They still eating off of that.
They eating off of that. I don't even know how much they get paid off of it, but their song will never go away. It was just in that Sterling K. Brown and Taraji movie. What was it last year?
Right. Oh, Honk for Jesus.
Honk for Jesus. Yeah, it was just in. Oh, it wasn't Taraji. It was Regina Hall. But yeah, it was just in that movie. So I know they getting something. There could have been a re-up. We could have had other collaborations. We could have, Crime Mob featuring Meg Thee Stallion right now, Mari. But they played this joke.
I mean, at least we got stilettos too. So like, at least it didn't dissolve before that.
All the ghetto women was holding their heels up at prom.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of that. I had a good laugh.
That's great.
Yeah, so
I love Crime Mob. All them songs is coming right back in my head like that. Oof. Yeah. Ooh, Gen Z will never know. They will never know.
They won't
about
get
being in the club when the Crime Mob song comes on.
Crime Mob come on and people in there wearing cardigans in the club. Rock Your Hips comes on and people in the club wearing business casual outfits.
I got 32 flavors of that bootylicious bubble gum.
Somewhere Sasha just woke up out of her.
She did.
Yeah,
she felt the ripple in the forest.
She did. Oh my god, I can't wait for her to watch this. But yeah, so that's our Black entertainment news for the week. If y'all see any Black entertainment news, tag us. Let us know. Let us know on Blue Sky, on X.com, on Instagram, or email it to us, recapkickback@gmail.com, and say, hey, you got to talk about this. But yeah, Mari, that's it. Now we have to talk about our Jam movie of the week. Our movie of the week, right here from Netflix. It's The Residence. Now, this is a show, obviously. And I believe it's 8 episodes, Mari, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I believe so. 8.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the first 2 episodes and why you, listener, should be watching The Residence if you haven't already watched it. How about that? And so if you haven't already watched it, we are going to spoil it. We're going to talk about the intricate details of episodes 1 and 2, but only episodes 1 and 2. So you have all the freedom to go in and watch the rest of it and be surprised like us. And then maybe one day we'll come back and just kind of wrap all that up later on. Mari, what did you think about The Residence episodes 1 and 2?
Well, the reason why I suggested this, I love like these high camp detective, like stylized shows and movies, like Knives Out with Benoit Blanc, with Hercule Poirot, as he's called. I love those like all of those type of movies, like Death on the Nile, stuff like that. Like
right, these little Sherlock Holmesian movies.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Like they've just kind of shredded the Sherlock IP. So like that's why they're just making stuff up like this because why is Watson in a hospital? That doesn't make any sense. But anyways, so to see Cordelia Cup at like a Black woman version of like all of those characters, it's just amazing. And Uza is hilarious. The humor in this show is just so hilarious. It's that like very dry kind of humor in a sense. Like I love it so much. Like the first 2 episodes were so good to me. And I love like when they put clues together, and I know I'm gonna have to, like, once I watch it at the end, I'm gonna have to go back
again,
and watch it again.
Yeah.
Because they're planting the clues as you go. So I love those type of shows and movies. So this was right up our block.
Yeah, so The Residence, an American mystery comedy drama television show by Paul William Davies for Netflix, inspired by The Residence: Inside the Private World of the White House by Kate Anderson Brower. The series revolves around a fictional murder scandal involving the staff of the White House, produced by Shonda Rhimes. Now, Shonda, we just got finished talking about Grey's Anatomy. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I see Shonda Rhimes' name on something, Mari, I don't necessarily get excited. I get like concerned. Because I know what she's put us through in the past, right? I watched Grey's Anatomy. I watched Scandal, and I watched How to Get Away with Murder. So I know she don't care about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I watched Private Practice. I know she don't care about me. Because if she did, she wouldn't put me through those changes. But then I also will go and watch something. What was the one she created about Anna Delvey? You know,
Anna Delvey, the German swindler heiress. Yeah.
She had a show, Shonda. And so I was like, and I didn't
Bridgerton, the Bridgerton, Queen Charlotte.
Yeah, but then also Crossroads with Britney Spears. You know, Shonda just be doing stuff.
She did Crossroads with Britney Spears?
Yeah, she did Crossroads with Britney Spears, y'all. Y'all didn't know?
Chappell, that it's a good thing. That is canonically so bad it's good. It has crossed into that.
It's moved into like it's like
a cultural touch point.
It's like Glitter, Mariah Carey.
Yes. Memory unlocked. I remember seeing that in theater. Like, what the hell did I just think?
I used to talk to somebody, and she really loved Glitter. Like Mariah Carey was like her person, you know. And I was trying to go there with her, but I couldn't. I mean, sometimes you just like what you like. You don't gotta like everything you like. Don't have to be good. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, this Shondaland. We see Shondaland is here, and I'm thinking, okay,
I love Shondaland.
Shondaland has treated me really poorly over the years, but not in a way that like isolated me and made me want to leave Shondaland. It just made me want to feel more pain, right? So we're going into season 22 of Grey's Anatomy. So Shonda Rhimes put me through some changes, okay? But this was very different than anything I've experienced from Shondaland. As you said, it stars Uzo Aduba, who I know as Crazy Eyes from Orange is the New Black. And you're right. She's a very Sherlock Holmesian character, very Sherlock Holmes and all his spinoffs, Doctor Who, whoever, right? She is the one lone investigator who is going to figure it out through unorthodox means. And while everybody else is trying to go one way, she's able to see that there are other ways of looking at the problems that are going to help her solve it. I really liked her in this. And like I said, since I know her from Orange is the New Black, it's a big departure for me from what I'm used to from Uzo Aduba.
And she's been in a lot of stuff since. I think she was in another like detective show that was on some streaming service that was like dramatic, but I just think here she was able to put together both her dramatic chops and her comedic chops with her comedic timing and her just deadpan, dry deliverance of the lines. She was really good in this. I actually really liked her in this.
Yeah, she's very funny. She's very funny. Even in Orange is the New Black, despite her character being like a little bit more menacing at times, she still was able to bring in the funniness. She also played Shirley Chisholm in Mrs. America, and I think she won an Emmy for that. So you know,
Miss Americana or something, right? No, Mrs. America. You say that.
Miss Americana is Taylor Swift's documentary.
Yeah,
yeah.
I actually watched that Mrs. America show. It was very infuriating. Yeah, on Hulu.
Oh, was it just the story was infuriating, or the show?
Yeah,
was it?
Because it followed the woman Phyllis Schlafly, who opposed like equal rights for women. Mm-hmm. Like she was a conservative pundit that actually ran against like the ERA bill, like the Equal Rights Amendment for women and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Infuriating. Like it, a white woman working against her own, interests. So
till as old as time. Look, next up on the call sheet, my uncle, Giancarlo Esposito. Yes. Like I was like, Gus is here. I feel like I've known this man my whole life. I've known him my whole life. He's in everything. He can play every role. He can play every race. He just does what he wants to do, and I love it. He speaks all the languages. I love this man in every role he's ever in. I was very shocked to find out his fate in the first episode, but we do get a lot of him, despite him being kind of the source of this murder mystery.
Yeah, he's Mr. Body. Again, shout out to Clue. Love the movie Clue. Like, he is who the show revolves around. But it is also crazy because he's like in the new Captain America movie too. Like, this man is in everything. Give him his flowers. Give him his things.
I would sell my grandmother's home to meet Giancarlo Esposito just because it needs to be sold. Just like the house needs to go away. He's not in great shape, but also if that'll help me like get to meet him and talk to him, I have so many questions for this man. But I was so excited to see him kind of in our second leading role in this movie. Now, the movie, it takes place in the residence area of the White House, which I don't really think we've seen a lot of movies that actually go away from what the president got going on in the Oval Office and really takes you to like, no, here's where the staff is living.
It was so cool, right? Like they had a whole diagram about like the breakdown of the rooms of the White House. So everybody knows I grew up in this area. I grew up in the DC area. So I've actually, did the White House tour like as a kid, at least twice, I want to say. But I was a kid and
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it was really interesting. It made me want to do another tour, but I'm not going anywhere close to there right about now. But I thought that was really cool, like the breakdown of the different rooms, the residents, like you said, taking it away from the Oval Office, and was very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm. And so we get a lot of the inner workings of what the staff is doing, right? We meet our chief usher, who is going to be Miss Haney. And when she starts the movie, we're introduced to her as the chief usher, but she just kind of becomes the chief usher because, spoiler alert, AB, played by Giancarlo Esposito, he is murdered. They find his body basically in the pool room, where they're playing billiards, in the game room, I guess I'll say.
In the game room.
On the floor. Yeah, and they're assuming that this is some type of suicide because both his wrists are slit. Now, I've listened to enough crime scene to know that this ain't no damn suicide. Within 2 seconds, I'm like, no, so it's not a suicide. Let's just go ahead and rule that out. But the people involved, the other people in staff, the people who are dealing with the White House, a couple of these standout characters, they really want us to think that this is a suicide, which also led me to believe that it's not suicide.
Exactly. And it's like his wrists are split, but there's barely any blood. He went across the street, not down the tracks, So it's just like, come on now. This is clearly not what it seems, but this is why Cordelia is here. She's here to see the things that people don't see. And this really does remind me of Sherlock Holmes' first novel, I believe, A Study in Scarlet. It's like the body, it's in a room by itself, and it's like, oh, what happened? Like, very cool.
She's on her way to vacation, basically, and they call her in because the DC Metro Police cannot be trusted with the jurisdiction of the White House. Now, it never even occurred to me because apparently only like 6 people have died in the White House since it's the second time it was built, I guess. Yeah, yeah, that part. But apparently it doesn't happen often. So the Metro Police actually doesn't have to go in there too often. But I guess if I was dealing with the residents of like the most important residents in the country, I would probably be a little, I'd be a little hesitant to let just regular old cops in. I too thought maybe they were gonna call the FBI, Mari.
Like, as much as I want to be like MPD, give them the benefit of a doubt. I agree. But it technically makes sense. Like, you would want police to investigate it because the head of the FBI, the head of the CIA might have alternate agendas. You know what I'm saying? So you would hope that the MPD would be an impartial law enforcement and they would try and solve, impartially. But
yeah, you would hope. So
one would hope.
Yeah. The MPD calls in our Sherlock Holmes here, Cordelia Cup. She comes in and she's like, she's got her idiosyncrasies, she's really into bird watching, and she's like, that's kind of her thing, right? Like, everything kind of goes back to birds. How do birds interact? What birds are on the White House lawn? Which birds she can find? But she's good. She's really, really good, and that's the one through line with all of these types of like whodunit types, like you're talking about the glass onion and things of that nature. It's like the one person who's investigating has a certain set of skills, that is like, okay, because of the way they are built, they're just uniquely able to solve these crimes. And so we're kind of following her through her journey through the White House, because there is the state dinner going downstairs, and the United States apparently has pissed off the Australians and really needs to kind of fix whatever we have going on with them. Mara, you and Sarah Carradine are supposed to be the bridge. Y'all are supposed to be the what's going on?
No, we're slipping. America is burning way too many bridges before we can build them back. So, we're trying. Me and Sarah are trying.
Yeah, we have a few big suspects, I'd say here. First on the top of my list is Harry Hollinger. This man is completely like just solely focused on the PR spin of whatever this is going to be. He's like, someone died in the White House while we're having a state dinner downstairs, and I cannot allow that to be a thing. I can't allow that to happen. So it needs to be a suicide. It also needs to go away. It needs to not be a thing that we have to deal with, at least for a few months. Like, we'll write up a report, but we're not dealing with this. So let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. He's like, you got 30 minutes. You have 30 minutes to get in and out of here. But no, all signs lead to foul play. And so throughout, at least in these first 2 episodes, they do a really good job of making it look like Harry Hollinger is behind this or involved in some way. And to me, that makes it feel like he's a big red herring.
Yeah, I agree. There's always like the red herring in these type of movies. But then it's like, it's always a red herring, but then there's also always like, well, then at the end, it's like everybody did it. And I hope they don't do that.
So our character who died, AB, he is seemingly a beloved figure in the residence. They go and interview all of the people inside the residence, all the staff. And nobody really has a bad word to say about him. There are a couple people who kind of like, you could take or leave him, but for the most part, everybody loves Giancarlo Esposito's character. And so, Mari, to me, to find out later on in episode 8, like, let's say we get through this whole season and find out everybody did it, I would be shocked, because it seemed like if everybody did it, they're all in on like pretending that they did not as a group. Like, they all have come together despite all these stories sounding so outlandish. The one thing they landed on was that he was a good guy.
Yeah, I agree. And again, the way that these are always set up, it's like you introduce multiple characters who can possibly do it, and then by the end it's whittled down, but it's always a twist. You know what I'm saying? Like, so as we're watching it in the first 2 episodes, it's like they set up like really big, like, oh, he definitely could have done it. And then you're like, and I even said to James at one point, I was like, oh, they're setting up that this person did it, so it's probably not him because we have like 6 more episodes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, and we'll talk about that person in just a second. The mother-in-law of the first gentleman is who found the body. Right. And so look at this progressive ass show. You know, we got a first gentleman in the White House. And
they didn't even acknowledge it. They're just like,
yeah. I mean, all we learned is that the mother-in-law does not like the president. She hates him, you know.
How do you hate the like that's amazing. Like,
yeah, I mean, how do you hate the president? I could figure out a way.
I mean, not that part, but like it's like your son has married the president, like the leader of the free world, and you still don't like it. Like that person will never be good enough for your kid.
Yeah, it's like you can't match up, you know, or maybe she don't agree with his politics. Who knows?
Maybe that.
She actually had witnessed her husband dead in bed a few years ago prior to the events of this night. Mari, this story was so weird to me. She said,
yes,
when she went to sleep next to him that night, he was already dead. But then she got up, went to work, came home and realized that he had been dead the entire time. Now, I know this has nothing to do with the murder case at hand, but she's guilty of something.
See, there was a few times in these 2 episodes where people were like talking too much and they gave too much about background stories about stuff that happened. I'm like, is this about to be like a big conspiracy or something? Or is it just like, you know, we get a scene later in episode 2 where it's just like Cordelia Cup just inspires people to kind of like blab everything to her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
I mean, that's a really good point. Because when you talk about interrogation techniques, Mari, this lady doesn't actually ask that many questions. There's one character where she just stares at him. And just through staring at that man, I don't think she even introduced herself. She told him to write your name down on the card, and then she just looked at him, and he talked himself into telling her everything she wanted to know about the case.
It was very funny. Yeah. It was very good.
Yeah, she's good. She's really good. We also, with her, have Randall Park. He shows up as Edwin Park, special agent Randall Park. Listen, I saw him the other day on, you know, he did the Jennifer Hudson dance line, you know.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. But people don't know this, but Randall Park can dance, okay? Like, he can dance. Like, he be pop locking.
I love Randall Park.
Yeah. God. Randall Park could, like, break dance. I'm pretty sure. And so, I was not shocked to see him doing that, but I was kind of surprised to see him here playing Edwin Park.
Yeah. I love him. He gives, like, golden retriever boyfriend energy. Like, he was so good in Always Be My Maybe. Like, something about him. Why is he not like a leading man on? He should have Simu Lu's place. Like, I'm sorry.
That's wow.
I don't know if that's because it's not me. It's Hollywood. You know, Hollywood be like there can only be one, and if there has to only be one, it should be him.
That's crazy. That's wild. I can't sign off on that. I understand, but I can't support it. I can't support it.
Randall Park should have that position. I'm sorry.
That's tough.
No, it's not. No,
so
it's
not. so he's here.
Not at all.
He's here as another dude because there's a lot of them involved, and they are all helping with this investigation, or at least he's in the way. She really, really wants to get rid of him because he's just kind of there. But it does feel like, I mean, how do you not like Randall Park, right? Like, eventually he's going to win her over, right? Like, at some point they're going to start working together.
And he's the FBI. So, like, hopefully that would be crazy if he ends up being the one who did it. But, like, so it because he's FBI, it's kind of like he's in that safe zone. Again, he's very, like, you can trust him. So, but also, did we mention this is all told, like, the story is being told to, like, a congressional hearing?
Yeah. So we really don't get in the first 2 episodes why they're in front of this congressional hearing. But there are plenty of, like, I think there are plenty of senators on this panel that are asking questions about this specific crime. And now, mind you, this is a crime of the people, the residents in the White House. So this is not a matter of national defense. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't think that you would need to bring in the senators and stuff like that, unless the person involved or being accused is somebody who is a government official, you know, because we see one of my favorite characters in this already in 2 episodes, Eliza Coupe, as as Margaret Bay Biggs from the senator from Colorado, who is like me throughout this entire first 2 episodes, asking all the hard-hitting questions. Because why does Harry Hollinger want to make this a suicide so bad when all the evidence is saying that it's not one? She is pissed throughout the entire first 2 episodes, and I love her so much.
Yeah, and she was doing really good. I was really kind of confused on whose side both of them were, except for like, because she was just like, she was on Cordelia Cup's side at one point. She's like, I love this woman. And at one point, she like wraps it up. And Al Franken, that former Senator Al Franken.
Yeah. Thoughts?
Okay. None.
Yeah. I was like, I didn't know Al Franken. Well, I knew Al Franken was a comedian, but I don't think I actually knew that. Like, I don't think I've seen him in anything in a very long time. You know,
because he was, because he was like a representative. He was like, no, he was like a senator for like a decade.
Minnesota. Yeah.
For a long ass time.
For like roughly what looks like 9 years, maybe?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. And then you know why he had to step down, right?
No, tell me what happened.
He like essayed somebody.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it was like light touching, but he stepped down himself. You don't remember this? I literally remember where I was when I heard this news and everything.
Oh, I don't know nothing about this.
It was like 8 years ago. It was like 8 or 9 years ago, I want to say. But like, some people came forward. He got Me Too technically. But it was like not complete, like it was weird. He was like touching people weirdly.
Keep your hands to yourself, and then we don't have to do this.
Exactly. And he like and the Democrats called for him to step down because we've, of course, keep ourselves to a higher standard than anybody else. Like he actually willingly stepped down because he was like, oh, that's what I did was inappropriate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it was clearly a soft cancel because he's here.
And that's where exactly. It was a very soft cancel.
Inside the residence, there is 140 guests total. I think 140 people, like guests and staff included. Amongst the guest list at the state dinner, you have Hugh Jackman and Kylie Minogue. And I thought this was so funny because he wasn't the musical guest, Mari, but I guess the musical guest canceled. And so they asked the guest of the party to literally just start singing her hit song 7 times to buy time. The state dinner was a hot ass mess, in spite of like them not knowing that there was a murder upstairs. Downstairs, it was a shit show.
Right, like the murder was not the worst thing that happened.
No.
And I love how it was like Hugh Jackman, but like we never saw his face.
Do you think we couldn't afford Hugh Jackman? You think we never gonna see Hugh Jackman? Ain't no way we never gonna see Hugh Jackman at all.
Like at the very last episode.
Scene. Yeah. Like you can't just like.
So funny.
Yeah, you can't dangle Hugh Jackman in front of our faces, okay? Like we gotta know that that's him eventually. But we get to the point where Cordelia Cup, she wants to talk to everybody. Essentially, everybody in the building could be a suspect, and in order to eliminate people, she has to go through all 140 people as options. And they go in and they interview each of them. And while interviewing them, little different like tidbits of different stories come out. But the biggest, I guess, red flag we get in these first 2 episodes is that there are some shenanigans going on with the Australian dignitaries. One of them finds his way into the kitchen. And Mari, this doesn't look great for the chef.
I mean, I mean, the chef does threaten the life of A.B. Winters, but she also gets it in with that hot Australian minister. So it's kind of like net win, I believe.
Yeah, it's like she got an alibi. We know what she was doing,
Right.
Now, mind you, the Australian guy doesn't look great either in this moment, because he had a good run-in with AB after trying to have sex with this with the White House chef, essentially. He gets a nosebleed and blood gets all over his clothes. He ends up having to go wear one of AB's shirts, and AB took his shirt. And so he's wearing it's very clear that, hey, this guy has been involved. But we find out that, yeah, this just happenstance. All of this seems to be just coincidental. And we're not able to actually pin this on him because his alibi checks out, right? Like, he was in AB's office at different times. His handkerchief was in there. And he wasn't on that floor, it seems, when the murder was happening. But but
I just want to say, sorry. It was a great callback to My Favorite Murder. It was like, why are you wearing the dead man's shirt? When it was like, why is your penis on a dead girl's phone? It's like the
How to Get Away with Murder. Yeah.
What did I say?
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. What did I say?
My Favorite Murder or something like that?
I did. The podcast. The podcast.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know her. But yeah.
How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah. So by the second episode, we find ourselves kind of making sure that the Australians know what's up. Because at first they're trying to keep this on the wraps. We can't have the Australians in on it. But now that this Australian dignitary, David Rylance, now that he's there and he's kind of involved, the Australians are incentivized to helping because they don't want it to get out that he was out here having sex with the chef outside. So,
which I'm like, what? Y'all, like, the lady,
the man probably married Mari.
Oh, okay.
He probably married.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, Australian foreign prime minister, probably just like he probably betrothed to somebody, betrothed.
I was like, why are y'all being that lady is not ugly or anything? Like,
no, if anything, it's just classist. It's like, oh, how dare this man of royalty go have sex with the chef outside? Now, it is ghetto, very ghetto that you had sex with the chef outside on the White House lawn. That's some hood shit. Okay, so maybe he don't want to be judged. He's gonna end up on Media Takeout or the Shade Room if they find out. Yeah, that's one of them ones where you're gonna be viral if people find out. So they got to keep that under wraps. Wow.
Do the kids understand that Media Takeout is the grandfather of all this crap?
They don't know. They don't know that we losing recipes, Mari. We losing recipes. There was another person who was upset with AB in all of this interaction, and it stemmed from the same thing as the chef. Now, apparently, the chef really wanted to do an open flame at the table when she served her food for the state dinner, but AB shut it down. He's like, there will be no flames in the state dinner. That doesn't make sense. There are people down there who could get hurt. Thus, we're not going to allow them to come in there. We find out that the head pastry chef was told that he could flambe some stuff. I believe it was banana Foster that he was going to make, and he's going to make it tableside. That also forbidden. And so him and the chef, they don't really like this. They're not fans. And this is when the chef utters the words, "I'm going to kill you." To AB.
As she threw glass around the kitchen, like, girl.
She was on something else. The chef was kind of one of my favorite characters.
She was mine too. And she said she just needed to bust one out. That's all it was. She was just frustrated.
She said, sometimes you just be mad about not being able to set stuff on fire. And you need to go have sex. It happens, right? Who among us? Yeah. There's a very interesting moment. We get one of the flashbacks about AB where he's in his bedroom and he gets a phone call. And he utters the words, "I'm going to be dead by the end of the night." Those were his last words, his exact words. And now we saw him say that. We know that those are the words he said. These were the eyewitness accounts of this. So somebody told him something on the phone, Mari, that led him to believe that his life could be in danger. Or did he mean it kind of like, just a saying, like, oh, someone's going to kill me,
Like Harry said, who hasn't said that?
Right. Who hasn't just threatened to kill people?
You said that you're going to be dead by the end of the night.
Like, that one guy was like, "I've said it." It's like, no, you haven't. Stop it. Stop it.
He said when I was out in the forest one time.
Stop it. Stop it. Maybe.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah. So we have reason to believe that somewhere in this phone call, there was somebody said something very dangerous or something very telling about this potential crime. But we don't really find out where it is. But we do get to trace the call. Mari, they trace it to like almost like the greenhouse area, the garden.
Yeah, the little shed. Yeah. And they had the gardener out there. See, and that's why I know I'm going to have to go back, because the way this episode starts off with the Falcon seeing all this stuff, like, I was like, oh, yep, I saw you could see the chef and the Australian guy. You could see somebody breaking into the gardening shed, and then you see somebody smoking out near the tree. Like, it's all this stuff that's connected and comes back. And I just love watching it unfold. But yeah, they find there's a line out there in the gardening shed. They had previously interviewed the gardener. And it's like one step closer to like trying to solve this.
Yeah. One person we haven't talked about is Lily. She is the person in charge of this whole event. She's the technically she would be AB's boss. And she, although she seems to be keeping it together, should really be concerned about her job, because she is the reason why the White House state dinner is going so poorly. Like, don't get me wrong.
She's the social something or other, social secretary.
Social secretary, yeah. Uh-huh. And so she's supposed to make sure all of this stuff goes on without a hitch. There's a ton of hitches.
Yeah, it is all her fault. Like, she's the one who told both the chef and the baker that they could have open flame in the stateroom, because they both were like, we told Lily. And then Lily rolls up and AB's like, did you tell them they could use flame? And she's like, yeah, I did. And we're like, you can't do that. Like, it is literally her fault. I would not be surprised if she gave the whoever the original performer was like the wrong date or something like that.
Right. And we still don't even know how Kylie Minogue ends up getting asked to do this, but we know it's a hot ass mess. Because once they realize they have to lock down the White House and interview all these people, all the news about the state dinner starts coming out. Hugh Jackman's entertaining people in the hallway because he's Hugh Jackman. I guess that's what you do when you're locked down with Hugh Jackman. But in these moments, we realize, okay, everybody's got different vantage points of their recollection of seeing AB. He's been in and out of the room several times, but nobody has the exact same story, Mari. So either somebody lying, Harry probably lying, but if somebody lying, or it's just one of the things where this person was moving around so much that nobody really can recall, where and when and how long they saw him. But some people seemingly can.
No, I absolutely love this. This is how it truly is, like, in a crime scene where there's hundreds of witnesses. Like, people think like, oh, if something happens in a big crowd of people, that's great. There's so many witnesses. That'll make everything easy. No, it makes everything like 10 times harder, because all those witnesses, 9 times out of 10 you'll have 100 witnesses, you'll have 100 different stories. And it's then up to you to wade through all those stories to try and see what matches up, what doesn't. Like, this, I thought this was so great. Like, each witness said, oh yeah, I saw AB, he was arguing with a man. And they cut to like AB arguing with a man, like, and then another witness is like, no, it was a tall woman, and then cut to, and it's just like, I love the reminder that perception is not always reality. Everybody has different perceptions about what's going on with them, because we are singular beings that are very individualistic and wrapped into ourselves. So when we're asked to recall something that is outside of ourselves, it's not necessarily perfect recollection. So I thought this was great.
Yeah, this is fun, but very frustrating if you're like me and trying to follow the clues. You're like, okay, this person did it. Well, maybe not, right? So they're doing a good job of spinning us around and around. One of the other key witnesses we will talk to is Angie Huggins, the painter. She is AB's best friend, or at least she says he is. But when asked about, like his being and how he's been, she's like, I found out a lot of stuff that I didn't even know about him. And in his journals, it did sound like, I don't think he killed himself, but it sounds like he could have killed himself, because he bore a lot of responsibility for all the shenanigans that have been going on in this building. We get flashbacks to other incidents where he's been putting out fires, and it does look like, Mari, he was about to retire or at least leave and go do something else. And so now that he, I guess in this episode, we are shown that he's asked to stay at the White House, or at the very least, he decides that he's not going anywhere. And that puts a spotlight on our opening character, Miss Haney, again, our chief usher. Right, because this Black woman is the person who would benefit the most from AB being gone, because she would get the promotion, the office that she had her eye on, and the spot that she'd been talking about having the entire time. So, Mari, was she ever really on your radar as a suspect, considering the vantage point we get of her throughout the episodes?
I mean, she kind of has to be. She opens the episode, and like one of the main things, she comes down right before his murder, and she tells like the whole staff, don't go on floors 2 or 3. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, it is very suspicious. If you're going by MO, she has the most to gain by his death. She gets a promotion, basically, and sometimes these type of formulaic detective things, it's the first person they show you, the first person they rule out, circle back, it's them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so she definitely can still be on the list for prime suspect.
Yeah. I like when it's those like you see a flash of somebody and you think that's suspicious, and then they never come back to it, or they kind of write it off. And so you're like, oh, okay, it's fine. And you never think about it. And then when they tell you the answer, you're like, I knew it. And you're like, did you know it? Because if you knew it, you would have been like, no, but I knew it. Like deep down in my soul, I thought that it could have been her, right?
Yes. The key to these type of movies, TV shows working is they have to actually give you the breadcrumbs. You know what I'm saying? So that once it is revealed at the end, it has to make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it gets frustrating, and it can be seen as stupid if at the end it doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we, knowing that, are looking for those little clues. Like, we as an audience should be able to come up with the answer. And if it's not possible, that is just poor writing.
Do you hear that, Tyler Perry? I will never. I am so mad about Duplicity. I'm still mad. I'm salty. I'm sorry. I can't lie. When you started talking about it, I was like, yes, that's exactly what we need for it to be good. And sometimes you just don't get it. You just don't get it. Anyway, so the big plan here is to just get everybody in the hallway, because Cordelia runs into a wall, right? She can't figure out anything. Everybody's stories aren't matching up. There's too many stories to juggle. Everybody has, like you said, different vantage points, different points of view of how things happen. And so she's like, okay, like a bird, I just need to see what stands out. I need to just get a bird's eye view at everybody and look at the crowd. And in the crowd, she notices, I guess the chef is moving kind of funny. I mean, the pastry chef, he's moving kind of funny. And so, yeah, real sus, real stuff in the grand foyer in front of everybody. And so we kind of follow his movements, right? And she notices on the back of the chef, there is chalk from the pool table. And then we see kind of the cutaway to the flashback of how he would have gotten that chalk from the pool table. He was with AB's body right next to the pool table, and he has access to a very large knife that could slit some wrist if necessary. And so, Mari, by the end of that episode, it does look like the pastry chef did it in the game room on the 3rd floor with the cleaver,
Yep. It does. And I literally was like, oh, okay, so it's not him. Because like
this episode
5 more episodes.
There's no way. Also, why are we at a Senate hearing about this? With this just this guy. Throw him in jail, let's move on.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and Netflix knows when to, because I was like, I don't know, should I just watch the first 5? But no. I had to stop myself from watching the 3rd episode. So yeah, like you said, it's that string of red herrings. It's that string of going down the line. And right now the pastry chef is under the microscope, and I can't wait to see like the rest of the series, because it's very entertaining to me so far.
Yeah. And to me, I'm trying to figure out how they about to clear this man's name? Because I've seen enough, Mari. You know, we saw him with the body. We saw him with the body, with the knife. He ain't said nothing.
Well, so to me, that looked like he was discovering the body. Like if you go back and you look, he has the knife, but he's falling backwards. Like he's falling backwards. He falls backwards onto the pool cue. He looks kind of shocked. And I wonder if he's discovering the body, even though he takes the knife and he then goes and washes it. So I was wondering if it'll be like that.
But do you think he's covering up for somebody? Because clearly, you know AB dead, and you see us doing all this investigation, and you're just gonna leave out this very important point that you were there and saw this happen.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe he's covering for himself. Like I don't know. I think maybe he didn't want to be thought of as a suspect, and
because he knows it looked bad, right? Like I don't know how the next episode we're not like he did it, you know, even though he probably didn't do it. I think that if you admit to this, it does put all eyes on you at that point, and you would really need a good alibi to save you from this. But I mean, we saw the man with AB was wearing his bloody shirt. And they cleared his name relatively easily. So
exactly. Yeah.
So I think you'll be okay, Mr. Pastry Chef, you know, but maybe he did it. Who knows?
We'll see.
But that's it. That's The Residence episodes 1 and 2. I think you should go watch it. If you're listening to this, go check it out. Let us know what you think. 8 episodes. They're all out on Netflix. So we can't tune in every week to talk about it because y'all are going to know all the things that we're going to talk about very quickly. And me and Mari ain't waiting that long. I'm going to go watch it probably tonight and make sure that I don't get spoiled by the internet.
Exactly.
So in the meantime, make sure you check that out. And then check out my other Netflix content over on the Nothing But Netflix podcast. You can go to nothingbutpod.com and see Scally and I, or listen to Scally and I talking about, we're talking about $1 Million Secret over there. Secret. Yeah, weekly drops 3 weeks in a row. They're dropping them in batches on Netflix, so go check out $1 Million Secret, and then of course make sure you subscribe to the Nothing But Netflix podcast. Mari, what you working on?
Well, first I just want to say you and Scally are doing a great job on.
You like it? You like the show?
I do like the show. Like I do. Like it's so interesting that they can pass that money. You know what I'm saying? Like. That's fascinating to me.
That's the part. That's the thing that like takes it to the next level. Yeah,
it does, and it makes you want to like, because seeing each person kind of, I want to see as many people as possible have that money and what they do with it. So, yeah, that it's fun. It's fun. I can't wait to see that season shake out. But overall on the Crime Scene Pod, me and Sarah Carradine we just had a banger of an episode. We were joined with Katie from A Date with Dateline and Rebecca Lavoie from Crime Writers On to talk about A Body in the Snow, the Karen Reed trial. Like when I tell you we briefly talked about that docuseries, which was great. It was a 5-episode docuseries that was actually pretty good. We talked about that briefly because we basically had 2 experts of the actual case on the show. So they then explained it to the case to me, like about like what was left out of that docuseries. So it was such a great podcast. Go to crimescenepod.com in order to subscribe and watch it. You can follow Crime Scene Pod on Blue Sky, the other place, and wherever you get your social media. And of course, rate, review, and subscribe. That's how we, stay relevant. That's how more people find us. So please do that. It was a really good episode. A really, really good episode. I believe A Body in the Snow, the Karen Reed trial, is on Max. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to give a spoiler or not. I will not give a spoiler.
Don't give a spoiler. Don't
So definitely go check that out and then go listen to us talk about it. It was really, really fun. And then we wrapped up Married at First Sight last week. So me, Jason, and Asia finished our coverage of Married at First Sight. Jason and Asia do have some interviews coming out, and they launched their own Patreon. So please go support them. They're big friends of the pod here. So you can go to firstsightpod.com in order to subscribe to them. And then you can go to patreon.com/@perfectmatchpodcast to support their Patreon. And that's it for me. Just make sure you follow me on Blue Sky at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. So you know what I am up to lately.
All right.
How about you, Chappell? Oh, well,
obviously, nothing but Netflix always, but make sure you subscribe here to Recap Kickback and support the podcast and all the hard work that my co-hosts do over here as well. G and I are talking about Abbott Elementary. There was some great Survivor content on Abbott Elementary this week, and so I'm trying to get a reel or something going to talk about that. But yeah, check that out. Keep up with Abbott and all the stuff we have going on here at recapkickback.com, youtube.com/@recapkickback, recapkickback.com/subscribe. Hit all of those buttons. Y'all know how to support us. Okay, so go do that and then tune in next week. But for Mari and for myself, you ain't got to go home, but make sure you fill out one of those polls that we're going to put in the comment section. Okay. All right, cool. Talk to you later. Peace. I've been trapped behind Maria, isolated like it's North Korea. Smaller city with some bigger dreams. The wall is cracked, I'm looking in between it. The world is yours, but man, I gotta see it. They say it's hard, but man, I gotta see it. The air I'm breathing can't feel my chest. Wait on life, I wanna hold my breath. I'ma get in my goddamn self.